Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do a basic row erg. We're also going to go through intermediate and advanced settings on that too, but basic rowing is hard to come by with a lot of people. A lot of people do it wrong, and they might have a lot of power, they might have a good speed on getting a certain amount of meters in time, but it doesn't mean that their form is correct. So I'm going to talk about the back specifically and how to protect your back, how to do it as a warm-up, and how to do it as a competition in the proper form in order to do so. I want to start by saying it is very similar to a crew rowboat, and it's similar methodology, but it's not exactly the same. There's some tricks on here that you don't have on a crew boat, and I'll show you the difference between the two. But first, you want to get your feet strapped in. You're going to have this position just right depending on how big your feet are, and then grabbing the handle, making sure it's up here, you don't have to reach too far. So ideally, if you're going for power, the farther you take the chain out, the farther you take the chain in, you're gonna get a lot more wattage, which is gonna give you a better time if you're trying to do it, meters or calories in a certain amount of time. Doesn't mean for a warm-up, it's gonna be the same thing. And the difference on power and warm-up too with the back is the warm-up, you can curve your back, you can flex your spine, stretch out really good, and then straighten as you pull back. On power, you want to keep your back pretty straight and your erectors as tight as they can. So this paraspinal should be engaged the entire time and keeping the back straight, getting all the power from the legs, from the arms, and from the lower back and upper back. So the warm up again is just like that, rounding the back if you want to, stretching out the back. Power is going to be back straight. And you can tell I'm leaning back, so it's gonna be, I like to say a 10 and 2, but some people do it 11 and 1 as far as coming forward over the hips and back behind the hips. So I like a 10 and 2 to where you're getting a little further in, a little further back. You wanna pull the handle in between the sternum and the belly button. So you're gonna go about right here. If you pull too high, you're gonna hit a lot of upper back. You're not gonna work the lats properly. Too low, you're not gonna get the range of motion. So trying to get to here, it should be kind of like a bench or push-up to where you have 45 degrees in the elbows. And as you pull back, it's gonna look like this with your wrist straight. You're not gonna be real high and you're not gonna be low right here. So doing a couple reps. Okay, so another thing that people tend to do wrong is they shoot back before they start pulling. You want to make sure that you keep everything in alignment initially, trying to push, using your legs as much as you can. The last motion is going to be the pull, but you want to keep tension on the upper body as you're pulling the legs, and it should be kind of one fluid motion. So a lot of people will do this, and then they lean back, and they extend the hips as they pull. It needs to be a pull and then extending the hips and finishing that pull at the top. So everything combined, obviously the more power you get in the legs, the more power you're gonna get on the row erg. Your legs are the largest muscle groups, your gluteus maximus to be exact, largest in the body. So the more you use it, the harder pull it's gonna be. So if you don't engage the glutes or the legs, then it's gonna be really hard to get a high wattage on the row erg. And by doing that, you're gonna do all one motion, pushing and pulling, keeping tension on the chain as long as you can. The last thing I'm gonna mention is the chain on where to pull it. When you return back, you should go kind of low over the knees. And then when you come here, you're gonna lift up just a little bit to where the chain is in line. You don't want the chain low when you're bringing it all the way in, and you don't wanna pull it back too high. You want to drop down. You see I'm still going 10 and 2. I'm using my legs, a lot of the power's in the legs. I'm not shrugging my shoulders. You're going to keep the shoulders down so your traps don't get too engaged and you're hitting more lats. 45 degrees here. Your wrists are straight and a lot of power in the legs. Breathing out on the way back, breathing in on the way forward. use these techniques and let me know how they change your rowing methods, and if you get your time any better on a certain meters. My best on the 500 is a 120.4, and that's my absolute best. And it takes a lot of technique, a lot of coordination, and a lot of power. So you got to make sure you use your technique to get the most power effectively that you possibly can. So like, share, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts.